you are doing 100 press-ups a day. So tell us why you're doing that.
I don't think I actually understand the scientific reason.
Okay.
But it keeps my mind switched on to have something to focus on every day. So I like the idea that, we've just come back from the Caribbean. How do I find, on a travel day to Barbados, how do I find room and time and space and to do 100 press-ups? I like to do the way I am. I'm wired is that I like to do things every day like that,
like a streak.
Yeah,
and you did it with the ice baths, didn't you?
Yeah, and there is there are definitely downsides to the way I'm wired and upsides. So we went to sign some documents this morning. For some remortgaging with some of our properties that we've.
And when you say we, me and you mean?
Yeah, and Molly had to be there. And the solicitor wanted us to come back in half an hour. So we went to a cafe and had.
Well, he said, "Do you want to go and have a coffee?" And I knew that you were about to say no.
I was.
And me and Molly were like, "Yeah, let's go and have a coffee and a chat and a chill."
So during that time, I'm at work. I can't sit and talk to Molly, my wife and child as if I'm not at work. I'm at work.
Well, I can just go into non-work mode.
I know because you're wired differently to however I am.
We're like, should we get Caspian a sausage sandwich? And you're like, no, we haven't got time.
Yeah, we're already late. It was frustrating me.
So that's the downside.
Yeah, but that leads to. I do think that leads to a ruthlessness from a business point of view.
I don't think you mean ruthlessness, do you? Tenacity, surely. Ruthlessness is you don't really care about the consequences to other people when you push forward.
I was thinking of ruthlessness to results.
Okay.
So you can call it tenacity, but that feels a bit weak.
I'd call it discipline, I think.
Yeah.
Because discipline, as we've already talked about on the pod, trumps motivation every time. We know that if you're disciplined, in other words, it's actually the habit. It's a discipline of the habit.
Yeah, and I think it's important to understand how you work, because you and I work very differently. Although we work very well together, we work very differently. I couldn't work how you work. It would not suit my brain at all.
Give me an example.
I like things to happen yesterday. You like things to happen next week. Mm-hmm. If something's happened, I need to fix it there and then. Whereas it doesn't enter your sphere. It doesn't bother you. I
my attention to detail, I would argue, is probably higher than yours.
Sometimes, but that's the difficulty with me and you. Well, not me and you. That's the difficulty with me sometimes understanding you. Because sometimes you're absolutely all over it, and then the other time does not matter. Fair. Yeah. Whereas I'm the same with everything.
I think it's because my energy, and this is a good sort of bit of self-awareness for anybody who's listening to this. Think about your business energy levels. Do they go? Because yours are always the same. You come in at before 9 o'clock. In fact, on a Monday you come in quite early. Don't you?
I'm actually quite late at the moment.
And then you go...
But it's never... It's consistent. So I have a spell where I come in at 7:30 every day or 9:15.
Okay.
It's not 7:30, 9:15.
No. And then you're pretty much gone by 5:15, 5:30.
Yeah, probably 5:30.
But in between the two, you work like a hamster on a wheel. Like you never, ever let up. And you are constantly in work mode. So if Molly turned up and took you for lunch, you couldn't cope with that. No, whereas I'm definitely not that. I've got cadences where some weeks... I just take it a bit easier, not as bothered, enjoy my work, maybe chat to Liam about what he's done at the weekend, feeling, like just quite chilled at work.
Forget important emails.
Forget a really important email, yeah. That sometimes happens on a down week.
Yeah.
But on an up week, I can start work at 6:30 in the morning.
Write a whole book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write, 60 webinar slides before I get in, and still work every evening as well. So I do get that I wouldn't call it all or nothing. I would call it, it's just like it's a natural rhythm of my energy.
Yeah, and it definitely takes and took getting used to. Because when someone works in a different way to you, it's hard to understand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Isn't it?
And I think what happens though, if you try and push me when I'm in a down week, I'm very resistant to that.
You rebel.
I do. And in fact, I said to you just a couple of weeks ago, you're not the boss of me. Remember that? Because you want it to get it done. So you're not issuing instructions, but you're just trying to make sure it gets done. And I know when you're trying to do it as well. I know when you're like, right, what we're doing this week then?
Yeah.
I'm not stupid.
A list comes on the whiteboard.
Anyway, we're here actually to talk about tenacity and this sort of Sean Conway approach to endurance and keeping going when you don't want to, which is, I suppose it's part of the same conversation. And last year, I decided that I would do 3 exercises every day. Mm-hmm. And I was going to do 30 of each. But I didn't start off with 30 of each because they were hard, like press-ups, squats and leg raises. So when I started this, which I think was in February... Yeah, it was beginning of February. I also gave up fish and eggs at the same time, so I wasn't even getting the protein to fuel this. I started off like 10 of each, and then I went to 15 of each, and now I'm on 30 of each. But I was determined to do it every day until I didn't, and that was in December when I was poorly, and I took a week off, and it was really hard to get back into it again. And now I've decided I don't want to do this every single day, no matter what. I want to pick and choose the days I do it, but it's actually, at the moment, it's working for me.
It gives me serious anxiety.
I know, and it wouldn't work for you, would it? I get that. If you miss a day, you feel like you failed and the streak would stop. But I'm okay at doing them 5 days a week. Like I'm going out to do a workout tonight, a class. I won't do those 3 exercises today now. But you would still do them anyway. But saying that, I've just been on holiday with my grandson, 15-year-old grandson, Riley. And we did a bit of a train tour of Scotland. And ironically, to get the sleeper train to Scotland, which is what we want to do, we had to go down to London to get it. So we took a 3-hour train to London from the Lake District to get on the sleeper to go back up to Inverness, which was fun.
Did you notice when you were passing Oxenholme?
Well, Riley didn't sleep. So he's there on his map, tracking exactly where we were. He said, I went to sleep after we went up a shap. Because it went really slow. I'm like, I was dead. I was out. I woke up when we got to Scotland, well, in Inverness. And I said, did it stop for a while? He goes, oh, yeah, it stopped in Edinburgh for about an hour. Oh, okay, good to know. Anyway, so we get into this cabin. And if you've ever been on the sleeper, you'll know that the cabins are minute. It's like sleeping in a car. There's 2 very, very small bunk beds, like big enough for children, wide enough for children, quite long. And because it's obviously the width of a train, isn't it? Think about it.
Obviously.
So the corridor is really narrow.
Well, it's not obvious because the beds could go the other way, couldn't they?
Yeah, but they don't because they're trying to save space.
Yeah.
So think about the width of a train.
Yeah.
So when you go to the toilet, for example, and you've got the toilet on one side and you've got a little tiny corridor on the right, it's a narrower corridor than that. We couldn't even get our bags down the corridor. That's how bad it was. You open up the cabin and the beds run perpendicular, so across. So 2 tiny little cabins, tiny little beds. The bit that's not the bed where you walk on was about 2.5 foot across. So I decided that because I'm with my grandson Riley and I'm trying to be a good role model for him, I'm going to do my exercises every day while I'm with him and make sure he sees, because he can't even do 1 press up, bless him. Even though he looks young and fit and he's 6 foot tall, but he can't do a press up.
You can't do 1 press up?
Not really, no. I mean, I've tried to guide him through them, but
right.
I mean, I'm not great at them. I can just about squeeze out 20, and he can't squeeze out 2. So I decided I'm going to do my press-ups in this cabin. So I lie on the floor. I've got my head against the door. I've got my feet against the little tiny wash basin, and I can't even move my elbows out because it's so narrow. And I'm doing press-ups on the floor underneath all our coats that are over my head. Because I wanted him to see what tenacity meant. I wanted him to see that that's what you do. When you say you're going to do it every day, that's what you have to do. And it's funny because we went for a little run over the Skye Bridge, the bridge that goes to Skye from Carl of Lochalsh, which is very high, very windy, very scenic. And we're running, and he doesn't want to run because he's got a cough and a cold, and he's going, no, I don't want to make it worse. Like his dad, or stepdad, I should say, because he's my grandson, isn't he? So his dad, all getting into family history now, he goes to the gym every day and he works out properly. I think he works out 6 days a week, and he is really fit and, what do you call it? I can't say buff on my hench. He's hench, there you go. And I said, your dad will be in the gym today, even though he's been really poorly too. And when I checked with his dad, he was in the gym every day. So that's what I was trying to say to Riley, that you have to go every day, even if you don't feel like it, even if you don't feel well enough, you still have to do something. And that's the bit that he hasn't got yet. At 15, if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't do it. He doesn't think, I'm going to do it anyway because it's good for me. And I think most people, it's a roundabout way of me saying, I think most people would say, I don't want to do it because it's not good for me. Or I don't want to do it because I don't feel like it.